Salut YouTube, on se retrouve pour le reveal de la tortue de siège de End of Dragon. Let's go, on va voir ce que ça donne. On a eu un petit preview qu'on va sûrement nous remettre là sur Twitter et après on verra in-game ce que ça donne. Je vais monter le son. Let's go, on est en live. Sur Twitch. Let's go.
Hundreds of years ago, the nomadic
Ça va le son les gars ou pas?
trained massive turtles to bear weapons of war across the Jade Sea. Now, you can raise your own turtle from an adorable hatchling to a cannon-carrying mount.
Jure Tortank!
Are equipped with the
OMG!
latest Jade tech advancements, including
Nickel.
powerful jump jets and health boosters. Use these tools to lift
J'y
your
pense, mais c'est
turtle
Tortank, en
across
fait.
rough terrain and slam your enemies for massive damage.
Ça m'avait pas tilté avant. Mais en fait c'est évident.
There's plenty of room for a friend. Take your favorite siege engineer out for a ride. And make
On va être deux dessus.
the turtles count.
Ça va être ouf. Let's go. Hello, Tyria.
Welcome to Guild Chat, and thank you all for joining us on a Wednesday. I'm your host, Ruby, and yeah, we're doing it kind of on a weird day because here in America, we have the Thanksgiving holiday tomorrow, so we're going to be on break tomorrow on Friday. But we still wanted to give you this show and give you some more information on what's coming up next week. The fourth open beta event for End of Dragons
Semaine
is
prochaine,
next Tuesday, starting on
quatrième
November
bêta.
30th.
Avec
You're
les
gonna get
9
to
spés
tune in and play
disponibles
all 9
et la
End of
tortue de
Dragons Elite
siège.
specializations,
Boom!
and you're gonna get
Ça va
to
être
try
ouf.
the Siege Turtle. So we're gonna give you a little preview of some Siege Turtle gameplay today with our first dev guest. But stick around after we show you the Siege Turtle gameplay because Cal is with us too, and he's going to give you all a preview of some of.
The CMC himself.
That was so good.
Classic.
Perfect. So Cal's going to give you a preview of the changes that we've made to the Elite Specializations for End of Dragons.
Oh, il y
After
a eu des
that, we'll
changements
have a
sur les
couple
spés.
more things that I'm going to leave for the end. So let's go ahead and get started because we have a lot to get through. Let's meet our first dev guest, but
Fais gaffe à ta carte mère. Mec, s'il y a un crash.
So
No,
hi, Nick.
it's all good. So I'm not Cal. I'm Nick. Hi. I'm a game designer here at ArenaNet, working on End of Dragons. Worked on.
J'adore sa
Shinkai,
chemise, elle est
stuff.
incroyable.
And I'm here to, as Ruby said, talk about the turtle baby.
right.
Not the baby, but like our good boy.
Turtle
The-
babies.
the very
Turtle
large
babies are
lad.
later.
Yes,
All right.
turtle babies are later.
So let's start. Let's take a look at this guy.
Yeah.
All right, so this is our Siege Turtle, our first two-player mount. This focuses on
Trop
cooperation,
stylé.
working together. There's a driver's seat and a
des
gunner's
petits
seat.
jumps.
Everybody has their own roles to play. However, if you are more of a solo player, you can still use the turtle because there's a driver's skill that we'll talk about later. A couple things about the Siege Turtle that you can look for once you've got your hands on this guy yourself. When you get closer to the turtle, whether you're in the other person's party or not, he
Tu peux
gets
monter dessus, ouais.
kind of transparent and there is not collision. So you
Ah bah,
can't
heureusement.
park the turtles on top of things
Heureusement qu'il y a
and
pas de
block
collision.
them. We're not going to have turtle roadblocks and traffic jams. You also need to be in the person's party to board the turtle. So if
t'es
I
obligé
were
d'être
not
dans
in
sa-
Nick's party, don't kick me. If
T'es
I were
obligé
not in
d'être dans
Nick's
son
party, I would
groupe,
not
ok,
have
d'accord.
this board turtle option.
Ok.
And if I left the party, I would get booted off the turtle. So we've got a
trop
couple
stylé.
things there just to make this as smooth as humanly possible. If you're not familiar with Siege Turtles from Guild Wars and Guild Wars 2, back in Guild Wars factions, this was a thing with the Luxon faction. They raised and trained Siege Turtles for battle with their big cannons. They had turtle hatcheries all over the world. Gala Hatchery was one of the most familiar ones. That was some gameplay in Guild Wars factions. And a little fun fact, Siege Turtles like to eat carrots and fish. That's their favorite food. Thank you for that, Indigo. All right, that said, let's get started. Let's do some turtle gameplay.
Elle a
Yeah,
5
so
cinq
first
munitions.
off, I'm going to talk about movement, which as you can see, this is as fast as the turtle goes. Big boy, but slow, is what it would actually be the truth if I wasn't lying. No, this is just the walking animation, which we wanted to demonstrate.
Non,
because,
il est en
you
train de
know,
marcher. Il est en train de marcher. Ça va plus vite que ça.
mount has a walking animation. I think that this one was actually really well done. Props to the animation team.
Yeah.
But no, it does move fast.
Salut Hiro, tu vas bien?
In reality, because this is the only mount, like the only creature mount that we're developing for this expansion, we tried to make sure that we and the team tried to make sure that the movement of the mount felt like a strong utility, and like you wanted to use this mount over other mounts depending on what your situations were. So it has.
C'est quoi en bas là?
Like it has a horizontal
En
jump.
dessous de son
but
swap
it's
d'armes.
Lower horizontal jump than the Raptor. It's got a high vertical jump compared to the Raptor and the Jackal, but it's lower than the Springer. It increases its speed and ramps up, which you're seeing me do somewhat right now. Very similar to the
fait des
Beetle,
drifts.
but has a
Fait des
lower
drifts.
maxed out speed, of course. Which you actually, this bar right here, you'll be able to see is the momentum speedometer, which basically shows how fast your turtle is going and when you have hit its max speed, because it will be fully filled out. Along with that, as I mentioned, there is a vertical jump.
Tu peux pas courir trop longtemps.
New unique thing to the turtle. So as you can see, we have these little like jets here and all this text strapped onto the turtle.
Elle est incroyable, elle est magnifique.
Has the ability to use these as sort of like rocket jets, and what those jets allow the turtle to do is basically jump. So like if you need to get to higher areas, or if you like need to glide for a little bit, you can utilize those jets to
455
and or stabilize and keep at your current height as long as the endurance bar has endurance. Once it's out, that's basically the fuel meter. So you will run out and it will.
J'espère que je vais pas avoir une coupure de courant.
Besides that, yeah, he's just a big tanky boy, and that's pretty much everything.
J'avoue qu'il y a une break bar, ouais.
I think the next thing to talk about is actually going to be the combat skills. So as you can see here, we have the normal engage skill, and of course, as of a little while ago, we've added to the 5 slots all of the endurance skills for each of the mounts, and this mount is no different. This one will allow you, when you click on it or utilize it, to.
Ok, tu peux monter droit, mais pas haut quoi. Tu peux passer les petits murets quoi.
What you have the ability to do is you slam onto the ground like that.
Ah, ça te sort pas de la monture? Ça te sort pas de la monture le spell, OMG?
Pizza cone. That will, there we go, yeah. That will do defiance damage as well as just a standard amount of damage. And what's cool about that as well is that you can actually utilize the jump jets to slam down, and the higher you are when you slam down, the more base damage you will do.
Ah, stylé. Plus t'es haut et plus tu fais des dégâts en.
Besides that, what you'll also be able to see is that we actually have all of the mastery skills from seasons 4 and
12K apparemment.
That you can utilize within the mounts kit as well. There are some additions to them that there are some additions and integrations of them that you will be able to see that help make the turtle more effective for players, and we'll go over that in a little bit. But for right now, that's pretty much everything for the driver side of things.
J'aimerais tellement qu'il y ait l'urgose et l'abîme, genre.
Yeah, can you give me, I don't want to cause a little bit of trouble. Can you give me something to cause trouble with?
Yeah.
All right, let's get in a fight,
Ask
shall we?
You shall receive.
All right. So we're waiting on some enemies now. Nick is making trouble happen.
I'm trying to.
The problem is, like, when someone's watching or when you're in a hurry, that's when the typos happen. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Okay, but you did it.
Okay.
Yeah, we got some baddies.
So we got.
Oh, elle tire.
I got Turtle Siege.
What?
My
Trop
turtle
stylé.
cannons. And this is a ground targeted skill. You can see down here that right now I have 2
Ouais, c'est stylé en vrai.
stacks of ammo. It does not mean 500 ammo. Don't get excited. I have 2 left. We are.
Mais. Ah d'accord, ça revient avec le temps, ok.
Yeah, it's just running in circles and dropping cannon siege on these guys. So this is.
Stylé, en vrai.
It's not. Okay, I can't do this anymore because now I'm distracted.
I'm
like, wait, we have to kill them all. It's super important.
We do, yeah, and like I'm also trying to keep them alive because something that people will probably notice right now that you don't notice with other mounts is that the slam that we're utilizing actually doesn't dismount you, which is something
j'ai remarqué tout de suite, ouais.
We wanted this mount to be able to be utilized in combat, so what we did was we removed the disengage on the engage skill, which I know doesn't really make much sense. Also, yes, I am going to cheat and heal to keep us on the mount.
Appreciate it.
Because we're fighting a lot of people.
It is, but that's okay.
Yeah, what you're seeing is that there's a lot of damage that we can provide either with the gunner or with the mount itself. And
On voit pas la break bar
The mount,
quand on est le
we
passager,
even
c'est
have
dommage.
where we could actually allow it to be tanky, as well as an actual defiance bar in and of itself, so that way it can withstand some damage of its own.
Yeah. So I want to point to my ammo now that you've been running around a little
Yeah.
bit. Ammo, you start with 5, you run out. It's not just gone forever. Movement regens that.
Ah
There are
d'accord,
other
c'est en
skills that
bougeant que
also
tu... Ah,
regen.
d'accord, ok.
There are other ways to regen that we will
Ok.
talk about later.
Tu pourras pas rester
But the
AFK et
faster
bombarder
Nick
quoi.
moves, the more ammo that I get back. So if you're running around, you're kiting. Hey, Hammermaster, all right. I'm just randomly getting achievements over here. But yeah, the faster Nick zooms around, the more ammo that we have. So you can work together. This is part of that cooperation that we were talking about before. You can work together to keep that ammo going, keep out of the enemy's way.
Sympa les barres de vie qui régènent auto.
And also,
C'est une
one
feature
note,
de la tortue aussi
the
ça?
numbers are not.
Yeah, so the numbers are not final here. What you're going to be seeing in the beta is that the numbers that you're going to be seeing within the beta and fighting against the Corteria and expansion enemies are going to be different than the ones that you're seeing right now from us. Our numbers probably look a little bit lower, it looks a little bit less damagey. That's because of balances that we're currently doing to the expansion armies and things like that. Besides that,
Actually, I want to note real quick too that I don't know if you guys could tell, while Nick was running around, we're running through the enemies that I've killed, and I was just kind of looting as you go. You can loot from the mount. You don't have to dismount to take care of that.
Ouais,
yeah,
mais
so
si on a le
that's
loot
both the
automatique, du
gunner
coup,
and
comment on
for the
fait?
driver. Like as you can see right now, I'm going to be able to just
Everybody
take
gets
all
their
of
loot.
all the stuff. Yeah.
Get all the things.
Yeah.
Vacuum it up, Nick. Do you want to talk about the speedometer a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So going back to what Ruby was talking about earlier with the ammo generation and regeneration, the players, like this speedometer doesn't only just show how fast you're going, it also shows how much additional recharge you're getting. So as you can see, it's broken out between green and red. The way that this works out is that while it's in green, the recharge is at a certain threshold. Once it hits red, it will be even faster, and that kind of maxes
Ok.
out what the base.
Dans le rouge, ça
regeneration
régène
is,
plus
or
vite les ammo,
regeneration
genre les
reduction.
munitions.
Kat, what's the appropriate terminology for that?
What?
The
Generation?
endurance regeneration?
Sure.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. Ship it. But the long and short of it is basically just that the faster you run, the more ammo that you'll get, or the faster the ammo will regenerate, and the speedometer is just there as a way to kind of visually show and indicate.
Franchement, la monture est belle en vrai. Hein.
So,
On peut dire ce qu'on
speaking
veut,
of
c'est
speed,
stylé. Hein.
Do we want to go super zoomy?
We should definitely go super zoom.
All right,
Sert
so
quoi
I
le
have
3 là? Il sert à quoi le
this
3 là?
5 skill here. This is my overdrive skill.
What does this overdrive skill do, Ruby?
So overdrive,
I'm curious.
this boosts accelerate, pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It boosts your acceleration, max speed is more, boosts your turning ability. And I'm gonna let the driver show that because the faster you go, also you're going to drift a little bit. This is kind of like roller beetle.
Yeah, it's got that roller beetle drift. You know, it's a very big, a very heavy creature, so we wanted to kind of help
Ça va
demonstrate
lâcher des
that. So it
giga
does
drift
slide a
en
little bit
tortue
depending
là,
on the speed that
sur
you're
End of
going,
Dragon.
and the turn radius that you give it when
suis
you
mort.
do decide to turn.
You can do it again.
Yeah. Also, something to note is that does also help the siege ammo
Il va où, là?
regeneration.
Yeah. I'm gonna give Mark a quick note not to show my monitor because we need to keep our secrets, so we'll just stay on Nick while I do a thing.
Yeah, and
And we're underwater now.
we are underwater now. Actually, I don't know if anybody noticed that animation. Let me.
it was
I'm gonna
great.
be a dirty cheater. I'm doing dirty cheater
How
stuff.
dare you?
But
Sympa le
what
petit
I was
épée
gonna
là.
second is that the turtle actually also has a very unique landing animation.
Ouais, ok,
Animation
tu
animation
t'écrases
is
sur
that
l'eau
you'll
quoi.
actually you hit the water, everything slows
Ouais.
down, and then you sink. And this is something that's really interesting about the turtle is that it doesn't swim, it just sinks to the bottom.
Ok, ouais,
of
ça
the
plonge,
water.
ouais.
And what's also really interesting about it, and a bit novel
Stylé de
actually,
fou.
is that the turtle walks around on the ground surfaces of every single water area within the game. So like, as I mentioned earlier, it doesn't swim, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, where it's more of a utility mount and it has a little bit
Parce
of
qu'il y a un boule
everything,
2.0, mais
similar
les
to
gros
the
drifts là.
skimmer, this is another mount that you can utilize underwater. And yeah, what I actually really like about it is that with mounts in the game, right, with gliding, those additions kind of reshaped the way that you think about those specific areas in the traversals. What I found with the turtle as well, at least for myself, is that it kind of changes the way you look at all of the underwater areas. So like whether it's in Corteria or Path of Fire or even in Den of Dragons, just being able to walk around at the base level.
En vrai, c'est vrai que c'est stylé. C'est vrai que c'est stylé. Si tu veux chill et que tu veux faire de l'explo ou quoi, mais que t'as pas envie de rusher ou quoi, c'est vrai que pouvoir marcher au fond de l'eau, c'est quand même stylé en vrai. On peut pas dire le contraire, c'est stylé.
So I do love that the turtle can walk around underwater. I love the animations.
Par contre, le 3, on sait pas à quoi ça sert.
Okay, hello, my screen is full of turtle. Suddenly it's just turtles everywhere. I also want to talk a little bit about the combat underneath water because you can still do that. I need you to take me a little bit closer to that hermit crab that I have targeted over there, please.
You got it.
Please. Oh wait, no. Okay, well.
Oh, there's another one right there.
Yes, we can get that one.
Bon, le boss avec full tortue, ça peut être drôle, genre.
I think we both heard it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So underwater is not ground targeted. It is enemy targeted.
Oui, c'est ciblé, ouais, normal. Sous l'eau, c'est ciblé.
Can you give me? I need another hermit crab. There was just one.
I'm looking. I'm trying.
We're trying to find enemies so hard, you all.
That one.
While you're trying to find me an enemy, I also want to note that you're going to be able to mount and dismount the siege turtle while you're underwater. That's not just, oh, you have to be on dry land or it doesn't work.
Yeah, not only that, but like also the gunner can hop into. The gunner can hop into.
Ah oui, non, c'est un trash mob, ok.
Another person's siege turtle as well. So it's like it's not just that the main person can mount and dismount, but also the gunner can hop in.
On dirait que c'est un
I'm doing
satellite qui tire.
mass damage to these creatures because they're the only ones I can find.
Yeah. Poor, I'm sorry, Koi.
I'm sorry, Koi.
Got it
I'm
for
so
the stream.
sorry. It's fine. He'll respawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something else to note, I think, is like as you mentioned, there's a difference between the ground version, which has actual ground targeting, very similar to our other skills, versus the click target. And the reason for that is just that we wanted to make sure that
Non, en vrai, c'est stylé.
it's a bit more like accessible and
Non, c'est
like,
validé,
easy
c'est
to
validé, c'est validé.
use for everybody while they're using these things.
C'est validé, en vrai. C'est validé.
Because it is a bit harder to use ground targeting skills in the water.
It really is. I also want to note that you're getting XP for my hard work siege cannoning Koi.
Yeah, that is definitely something else to note. Is that I think because we're in the same party, anything that you do, I will get credit for to a certain extent.
Oh, c'est stylé ça. C'est stylé, l'XP il est cher, on va encore heureux en fait.
Yeah, I think that actually also might be beneficial to get out of this water, which.
Yes, please.
Yeah, the best way for us to be able to do that is by utilizing the jump jets. That's how the turtle moves up and down. And actually, before I go out of the water, what I will note is that I don't know if other people will notice it, but within the water, while you're swimming around, while you're using the jump jets, they will actually move faster. So you will gain more elevation faster while you're using the turtle.
Ouais, tu peux sortir de l'eau facilement quoi.
Yeah, they're like my skiff. Your skiff's okay. It's very durable.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, but so that's pretty much it for underwater.
Yeah. Let's see, what else have we got? I think we've covered most of it. You all are going to get to try this.
On veut savoir à quoi il sert
ce
spell 3 là.
You all are going to get to try this next week in the End of Dragons beta event starting on Tuesday the 30th. You're going to start with Siege Turtle Mastery 1. We are going to give you a little sneak peek at the Siege Turtle Masteries, just so you can see the whole line and see what's going to be happening.
Oh oui, les masteries, let's go!
Once again, Mark and I'm keeping our secrets, so please don't show my screen. All right, let's go ahead and go through them, starting with the Siege Turtle level 1. The first one is Turtle Health Boost, and that will increase your turtle's health.
Yeah.
Second one is Slam Mastery. This is what Nick was talking about earlier. Your turtle's slam will now also generate 25% of an artillery shot.
Ça, c'est cool.
And this is the thing that we were talking about earlier, where you regen your artillery in the gunner seat by running around. The faster you run, the more it regens, but also when you use that Slam Mastery skill, you get a little bit of an artillery shot back too. So that helps regenerate it faster.
En fait, c'est vraiment un travail d'équipe.
Improved jump jets, which would have been awesome when you were getting out of the water, but it still does its thing. Your turtle can now jump farther and higher.
Tu peux sauter plus haut, ok, et plus vite, ok.
Powershell is a protective skill. This allows you to convert incoming damage into ammo from the passenger seat. And you have a little protective shell beyond your actual turtle shell. And finally, sharing is caring. This gives your turtle's health boost to all of your other mounts too. So this one is useful for all of your mounts.
Stylé ça, ouais. Enfin, en soi,
All right.
Agreed. Yeah.
C'est vrai
sorry,
qu'en
one
Raptor,
second.
t'as souvent peu de vie.
Yeah.
en vrai.
We have to like take little pauses and make sure that we're not showing anything off. Like we've talked about before, the game is a work in progress. We want to leave tons for you to discover, so we're trying not to give away all of our secrets.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure that we could actually like also visually demonstrate some of those differences. So like if you were to look at my client as an example, what
Nick
you'll
is
see
good
is what you'll see now is that like the turtle hovers a little bit higher now that I've done that. Let's see, I think it also mentions in the tooltip. Yeah. So now you'll see that also within the
Ah ouais,
tooltip, ammo per
20%
hit
ammo,
is,
ouais. Ok.
increased. And
20%,
also
ça veut
the
dire
health has
une,
also
quoi.
been increased as well.
Sur 5.
So just things like that, wanted to
Okay.
kind of give a little bit of visuals to that. I think also as well.
La map est
Ruby
trop
wants
belle,
to
hein.
show off the shield skill.
Yeah. Wait,
C'est
let
un
me come back.
pur banger.
Yeah, right behind you. There we go.
All right. So that shield skill is my 3 skill.
Ah, ça y est.
And then yeah, it just puts a giant bubble around us.
Wow, stylé.
We will die much less quick.
Yeah. Something else to actually note. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but just in case, when we're talking about ammo regeneration and we're talking about the season 4 and 5 skills, the bond of life once again heals and increases the
Season 4 and
boss
5
with these
skills.
turtles.
Donc pour eux, c'est bien la
And
saison
that also
5
increases
épopée de
depending on
givre.
whether you have the mastery or not, as well as the
Ouais, c'est
bond of
bien,
vigor not only
saison
increases
5.
your endurance for your jet fuel, but it also increases the rate of ammo reacquisition. So when you use that plus the boost plus max speed, you're just going to be constantly firing them out. It's really exciting. And then of course we've got standard
stylé,
max
ouais.
health
C'est un
and
vrai-
bond of faith. So those are just the kind of things that I
C'est
also
un-
want to mention.
c'est un bon gameplay
the
d'équipe,
team
en fait,
wanted to
les
make sure that
deux.
we could better integrate and
Enfin, la
give
tortue de
additional
siège, quoi.
value to both
Ouais.
those who get the turtle and go back into those old
J'ai lu ton message,
expansions
Joey.
and content and get that, as well as additional value for those who already have those things and get the turtle. So definitely wanted to make sure that we could take some time to integrate those things and make them worth it.
Absolutely. Do you want to talk about World versus World a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I'm sure that that's something that's everybody on
World
everybody's
versus
mind, right?
World!
It's called the Siege Turtle. So I know a lot of people out there that play World v. World are probably thinking like, Siege Turtle?
Hey.
Like, does Turtle do siege damage in World v. Worlds? And the unfortunate answer right now is no. What we decided for the expansion is that we will not be shipping the turtle within World v. World and will not be allowing it to be usable in World v. World. And the reason for that is mostly just that with the expansion coming out and with all these additions of things like the elite specs as well as the alliances or world restructuring and things like that, we wanted to make sure that we didn't introduce too many variables of disruption for the expansion and when everything drops to help make sure that people like Cal aren't like just forced to change a lot of stuff at the exact same time. But that doesn't
Okay.
necessarily mean that it's off the table. What the team decided on is that like if we do add it, it's going to be because people like yourselves and all the players have decided that they really, really want it, right? So through kind of community desire and with community influence, we will make the decision on whether we should or should not add it. But something to also note there, I think actually our current design director said it best.
En fait, en
we're
vrai-
only going to do it if it makes World v. World better. So something to note is that if we were to add it to World v. World at a
J'attends
later
qu'il ait fini de
time,
parler.
we would make sure that it doesn't break the game mode and that it fits. So it would be different, right? It would be a highly modified version of the Siege Turtle, very similar to what you see with the Warclaw in PvE versus World v. Worlds. But yeah, I think that's everything for World v.
Yeah.
World. Yeah. Something else I think that is worth mentioning is that I think some people might have actually noticed this with the current the T-set chairs because I think it's some
Ouais, ouais.
functionality there.
Ouais.
Oh, yeah.
But you
Le
actually,
T?
while you have a passenger, you have the ability to teleport around with them. So as an example, I'm
Oh,
gonna
sérieux?
peek
Ah oui,
real quick.
c'était sur la tortue et que tu TP
I
loin.
think,
We can show one of our screens.
yeah,
I'm good. I'm safe.
yeah,
So Nick is teleporting.
or trying to anyways. Aha, that's
The
why.
typos are happening again.
I'm not used to this keyboard, but yeah. So as you can see, I just teleported to back over to the starting area that we were at earlier, and Ruby was pulled with me. So that means that you're not just taking your friends like on a run, right? Like you can take them to different parts of the map as well, utilizing teleports and waypoints. I think something else that is worth mentioning, because I'm sure that a lot of people are also curious about this, is that
On a vu que 2 devs là.
for the acquisition method,
Yeah.
we
Ah
can't
bah oui,
really talk
troisième
about
encore.
what it is or like how it's built out.
Je sais pas
But
de
what
quoi
we
il va
can
parler.
say is that it is going to be faster for players in acquisition than the Skyscale was, as an example. So for those people who are like, is it going to be comparable to Skyscale in duration and investment? The answer is it's going to be a lot simpler to get, a lot faster.
Ok, ce sera beaucoup plus facile et beaucoup plus rapide d'avoir la tortue que le Dracaille. C'est bien ça.
I dismounted while you were talking and hopped out over here just to show off that my turtle looks a little bit different from yours.
It does look a little bit different
Yeah,
from mine.
so just like with
C'est
the
quoi,
other
c'est
mounts,
les
even
couleurs?
on the base mount, you can dye yours to kind of make it your own.
Ah,
We
tu
have
peux les
a
dye.
few dye colors available in the game. So I just went with a harvest gold. I went with like the most offensive pink I could find the first time. It was a lot.
Il l'a mise en bleu clair, genre.
But yeah, I went with something a little more subdued this time, and Nick is changing his now.
Yeah, I'm
Ooh, I
just,
like that one.
I'm like cycling through. That's brick. If you're talking about the one that I'm using right now, that's brick.
Yeah, that looks good.
And then also something to mention is that very similar to the other base level mounts,
La tortue, ça me termine quand même. Hein. Quand tu cours en tortue là.
each of them has only a singular die channel on launch, and that's going to be the same with the turtle. So you will have one die channel for when the turtle is released, and it dyes the shell specifically. Just for those who are curious about what parts it's dyeing particularly, it's just a shell for right now. And
Ok, c'est toute la tortue qui est.
literally all of it.
I do want to call out one more thing.
Go for it.
This is just like a fun little animation thing because we've talked before about how much work and the care and the details that everybody puts into these mounts. And if you look at my turtle, I'm just going to move away from you, Nick. As he is, no, you're fine. As he spins around, as I'm moving around, the cannons are following me. My siege cannons
Oh,
are
j'avoue.
following the way to point in the direction that they're going to go.
Oh, c'est trop stylé.
Didn't even notice
Yeah,
that until right now.
Les
it's a
canons?
fun touch, but it's also a helpful visual indicator. Like,
Oh putain, c'est
which way
incroyable.
it's going,
C'est un truc de ouf.
how
Les
weird
canons, ils
it's gonna be
suivent
depending on
la
how
caméra en
you're
fait.
targeting. So yeah, kudos to everybody who
Putain,
worked
c'est
on
trop
this
stylé.
because, like
C'est
we
trop
said,
stylé,
it's
en
still
vrai.
a work in progress. We're still improving things and putting those final touches.
C'est trop
on,
lourd. En
but
vrai, c'est
it
trop
already
lourd.
looks fantastic.
Yeah, and you know, shout out to people like Ben Kirsch, who is the main
Yeah.
designer for this, and everybody on the animation team worked on it.
Ouais, gros big up
programmers
à eux,
as
ouais.
well, trying to make sure that it felt
Mm.
solid. You know, like this is a staple piece and kind of like one of the key features that we're shipping for this expansion. It's like one of the back of the box features. So the team really wanted to take some time to make sure that it felt good, that it felt what's the word I'm looking for, like worth the investment, worth the time, and things like that. So we just hope that y'all feel the same way.
Yeah, awesome.